Okay, so we're making good progress. We're already done with our little board algorithm. Now the next thing that we're going to start working on is the update use case. And I just want to take the time to tell you that you're more than ready to go try this on your own. Okay, you're more than ready. And I do want to say that to you. If you want to wait for me and you still want to follow along, of course, you're more than welcome. This is the whole purpose of the course. But it's also the purpose of the course to get you comfortable doing stuff on your own. So I just want you to know that you have everything to do this on your own and do okay. So I just want to walk you through, and this is again the version that I have on the cloud for you guys. And I just want to walk you through what the use case is. So when we want to update a project task, we obviously want to load the form, the update project task form, with the information of the project task. Then we want to obviously perform whatever updates we need to perform. Then we can obviously start changing things. Maybe I'll put this one to high priority, and maybe I'll put this one to done, and you see how things start moving, right? So basically we have to load, we have to get, and then we have to post. And obviously if the user is trying to do something rotten, we have to stop the user and then submit it. And remember, this one has a bug that this error stays in the state, and we already took care of this for the update project, and we're gonna do the same here. We're also going to take care of this when we post. Remember, this we take care of this. We do this cleanup here when we post, not when we get. All right, so this is the use case. Again, you have this link. You can go create your own account or use this one that I'm using, which is literally test.com password. So you can do whatever you want. So it's up to you. But play with this for a little bit and try it on your own. Okay. All right. So now that we got this out of the way, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start working on the visuals of the update project task, and we're going to do RCC tab to start creating our class-based component. So let's make sure that we can display it first, that we can display everything, that we can see the form, and then of course we're gonna start working on the backlog actions so that we can start getting this from the server. As always, we're going to go to our project task form, and we're going to copy and paste the create update task form here. Okay, for those of you that are already thinking that the add project task, that it should be pretty much a rewrite or pretty much the app project task with certain changes. Yeah, you might be right. You might be onto something. I just don't, I do that when I'm on my own, when I'm coding on my own and nobody's listening, nobody's watching. But with students, I do not want to do that. Okay, so if you want to go try that out, stop the video, go try that out, and then just come back, or even you don't even have to come back to the video. Maybe you just come back to the code for the lectures in which we're going to implement update and make sure and just look at the differences and act accordingly, but make sure that it works on your end. All I'm saying is that since I know that I also have some people here that are starting out, I do want to take it step by step. So for those of you that are a little more advanced, please bear with me. And since you're more advanced, then stop the video right here and go do it on your own, okay? You should be more than capable of doing that. All right, so we're gonna go to our design package. Again, this is on the GitHub. Mind the comments. This is where it starts. Create update project task form. And then it also has a comment here at the bottom. This is where it ends. So just grab all this. We're gonna put it here. As always, we're gonna do our class cleanup. Command D D as in David, just so we can start getting rid of stuff. And I saw something there. And remember, never get rid of this one. Never. Okay, so I'm just gonna do it now so you guys can see what happens if you're not careful. This is, right now you're destroying your own application, so don't. Okay, so we're gonna save that. And I'm just gonna come clean with you guys. I literally stole this from the JSX that I created for the prototype, so that's why you see that there. Just remove it for now. We're gonna use it, but remove it for now, because if not, your app's gonna break, right? Okay, so we have our form here. Now that we have our form, we want obviously to make sure that we can navigate to it. So why don't we go to app.js and create the route for this one as well. And I just want to bring Postman here because I do want you guys to be absolutely clear on how we render this, because remember, when we call the update project form, what we want for it to happen is that it loads the specific project task that we're trying to load. So in order for us to get a project task by ID, we have to pass it two parameters. We have to pass it a valid project identifier that's actually related or belongs to the same project, or is the same project to where the project task belongs to. I'm sorry, that was a mouthful. Okay, make sure that this belongs here. That's it. That's what I should have said since the very beginning, instead of challenging the limits of my English. All right, so let's go ahead and create this route here, and we already remember how this works. So what we want to do is we want to grab our what I call it update, and just let me look at my notes. I do want to get this right, because I do have notes like, hey, this is the name that I chose and whatnot. Update project task, cool. And then our project task, we're going to pass it two parameters as I mentioned before, and I'm going to use the same ones that I gave to our Spring Boot project. Backlog ID and then PT ID. Okay, and this is obviously going to load the update project task form. All right, and remember, because I have super cool VS Code and super cool extensions, this gets imported for me automatically. If you don't have my super cool VS Code, then you have to go type this out. Unless you have a super cool extension in Atom or Sublime that does this for you. I'm pretty sure they also have it. I just don't know how to install it. I never play with it, that's all. No bashing it, guys. All right, so now that we have this in place and we know that this is our route that's gonna ultimately take us to our form, then we need to go to the project task. Remember, it's from the project task that you actually trigger the update. And I do want to show this one more time, even though I know that a lot of you are already clear with this. But remember that it is our project task component where we click to load everything. Okay, so right here, that link here is what we're going to update, so it takes us to our form. So we're going to go here and we're going to scroll down to where it says view update. Do we already have link here? No, we actually don't have link here. So first we need to actually get link. So let me just take a look at that import here. Okay, and for now we're just going to import link from React router DOM. Perfect. So now that we have that, we can go all the way down here to view update and then just replace as we have done it before. Again, if you are like at a point where you're like, but I know what to do, why are you going so slow? Stop the video. Go do it. Seriously, go do it. Please do it on your own. It's good practice. It is really good practice. Okay, so now that we have that there, which is really great, then we're going to see how we are extracting our project tasks and we know that we have our project task all the way here, and we already know that what the API is expecting is the project identifier and the project sequence. So we can literally extract this from this prop right here, and we can go to this link here too. And remember, we need to use curly braces and backticks, and then we're going to go to that route that we created on app.js. Update project task, and then $, and then curly braces, and then it's project task. Project task, project identifier, and then curly braces, then again project task, and then project sequence. Okay, and with this in place, this should take us to our form. Okay, so why don't we try and run the app and just make sure that the navigation is in place, and make sure that everything actually boots up properly. That's the other thing. Okay, so we have to go to the dashboard, we go to the project board, we do have this here, and this, when I click here, should take us to the form. And not only takes us to the form, but it passes the right parameter. Now test 1 here, right? View update, and yeah, it's not loading anything obviously, but if I go back to the project board, actually, why don't we take care of that right now? Where is it? That's actually on the form. You know what, we cannot take care of that right now because we're still not passing props onto this or anything on the project task. So don't worry about it for now. Okay, so we can just go back to the dashboard and then go to project board, and 6, perfect. We're getting all the right information and we're loading this properly. One thing that I do want to improve here is that in our project task, in our update project task, well, let me first clean this up, and again, I'm on update project task. I just gonna make a mental note here that this I actually put over here somehow, so you guys know exactly which one you're working on without having to rely on looking at the URL, because actually that's a thing that I don't yet have in the one that I deployed. So again, always making it better little by little, right? Cool. So we have that. Our project task is loading. So now that we have our form and that we can navigate to it, why don't we start working on our backlog actions so that we can actually retrieve or get that project task based on the parameters that we're loading. And if you remember, I'm sure you remember this. Remember, you need the project identifier and you need the project task sequence. So we're going to go to our backlog actions, and right under the get backlog action, we're going to start wiring up export const get project task, and then we're going to take 3 parameters here. We're going to get the backlog ID, which we know about. We're going to take the PT ID, and then we're going to take the history so that we can redirect once we're done updating our task. And then arrow function, dispatch, then arrow function again, and curly braces. All right, so let's just wire this one up right off the bat, because I think we know everything that we need. But before we even do that, let's just make sure that we have the type that we need, which is get project task. So get project task. And remember, we're not using well, I'll cross that bridge when we get there, but we're not using a reducer for the post action. We're just using a reducer here because we want to load that task onto our state. So we're going to do our try catch block. And then in our try catch block, we're going to do const res await actions, and then we're going to do our get request. I already know we're doing this get request, and remember we need backticks here. API the backlog / backlog ID, and then / $ curly braces PTID. Okay, and then once we get it from our API, we're gonna dispatch our get project task action, and we're gonna load the project task that we're retrieving. Okay, and then if we have any errors, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna handle it a little different than it is in the prototype, because the way we have it on the prototype is that, remember that you cannot input when you're getting. Okay, let me just do that real quick. And I don't mean to bore you or anything. I just want you guys to have complete context of what it is that we're doing at all times. Remember, this is a route that people can alter. Like say, oh, you know what? Why don't I go update 6.2 since I'm here, right? So you want it so that if you put a number that doesn't exist, it kicks you out of there. Right now in the prototype, it takes you all the way back to the dashboard, but I want it so it takes you back to the project board. Okay, no, actually it has to be to the dashboard, and I'll tell you why. Because what if the user tries to put some garbage here? You know what? Let's just do the dashboard for now, okay? And you could totally do like a little algorithm like we did for the project board if you wanted to have a more descriptive message. I just really want to just stick to what we had in the prototype. And then of course you're more than welcome to always try and make it better. But for now, if there are errors, just take it back to the dashboard, because him or her are definitely not paying attention to the project name that they're putting on the path, right? So you might as well just take them back, and that's it. So this is basically our action. Get the project task, and if that doesn't work, then obviously put it back. So now we're gonna go to our update project task, and we are going to import a few more things and do a few more. We're gonna wire up a few things, and then I think where we want to leave this lecture at is that we actually see the project task load in the state. Okay, so I'm gonna import connect from React Redux. Then we're going to import class names for our errors. Okay, then we're gonna import the actions, which in this case is gonna be get project task, which is what we just wired up in the backlog actions. Okay, get project task, perfect. From // oh, where's this one? Oh, there it is, actions. See, that's the beauty about IntelliSense. Perfect. All right, so now that we have that, then we have to, and I'm pretty sure you guys all know the drill. We're gonna go all the way to the bottom here, and then we're gonna start connecting this to our state. So when we render the form, we can actually see the project task in the state. Connect We're gonna say null for now, and then we're gonna put here the action. Okay. Then we want to map our save to props. And I'm just gonna get this out of the way. Then we're gonna do project task for now. And remember, our project task lives in state.backlog.project task. That's where it lives, okay? Remember, backlog comes from the backlog reducer. Backlog reducer has the project task. I know that we have talked about this many times. It was something that was hard for me to learn, and I'm just like, you know what? If I know that that's usually something that people struggle with when learning Redux, so that's why I keep going back and forth on that. And remember, we're gonna do the prop types, nothing new, and we're gonna put the function here, prop types. Assuming that I can type at all today is required. And then what else do we need? We need the project task as well. Guys, I know that this is already getting tedious, right? That we've seen this over and over and over again. Again, stop the video, go do it on your own. That's in the end, that's what I really want for you, is to be able to do these things on your own. You didn't buy this video to follow this video for the rest of your days. This video is just to get you started and have you do things on your own. And I made a mistake here. I need to import prop types. And it gets to a point where you actually know this by hand. You know the imports. Okay, perfect. So now that we have that in place, then the next thing that we want to do is we want to use component did mount. Okay, so we're going to go, and you remember this little lifecycle hook, component did mount, and then remember our this.props.getProjectTask takes three parameters: the backlog ID, the PT ID, and the this.props, the history. And you remember where we get those from, right? Again, always remember this. Every time a component is rendered by React Router DOM, you can get this as props. I'm pretty sure a lot of you already did it. And yeah, you keep explaining whatever. I'm just gonna go do it. you do what you have to do, Carlos. I'm gonna keep moving forward because I know what you have to do. If that's what you're saying to yourself right now, I'm really happy. And then you're getting your money's worth, because that's what you should be aiming for at this point. Okay, so now we have this, and we are mounting this. Okay, with this in place, if I didn't forget anything, we should be at a point where we should have our project task in the state, loaded in the state. Okay, so I'm just gonna go reload this, go back to the dashboard, and again, I just restarted this. So if I go here to project board, if I want to update, let's say I want to update 5, and let's move to state. If you see, the project object is empty because I haven't loaded any project object yet, or project task object, sorry. Actually, I should be looking here, sorry. If you see here, project tasks are here, and then the project task empty. If I load this here, then it loads up beautifully, and you can see the project task that we're about to update. And if I go back and I try and load another one, 3, same thing. So we are in a really good place right now. We have our project task right there in the state. So now all we need to do is start extracting that from our next props. And I know that you know where this is going. And then we have to extract that, turn our component into a controlled component and all that stuff. So which is all things that we're gonna do in the next lecture. But for now, we're making good progress.